Hi there. Last time when I was out with the kayak, you saw me have a little bit of a rough landing and also some big waves when the kayak was lying on the rocky shore. So now it's time to take care of those scratches in the bottom of the kayak. And this is also a good thing to do every spring when the season starts, because there can be some scratches that will slow down the speed through water. And also, if you do it regularly, the surface will be improved every time you put a new layer of varnish on. So that is what we are going to do today. Prepare the kayak for the summer season and take care of the scratches. First, I sand down the whole area with 120 grit paper. I do this for two reasons. First, I need a dull surface for the varnish to bond well. And second, I want to level out the edges of the scratches. Using a longboard helps keeping the overall surface level. When I have sanded the whole scratched area and the paper is full of dust, I vacuum off the dust and change to a new 180 grit paper. This is to level out the surface further without increasing the track depth from the sandpaper. I finish with vacuum a second time and move inside, where I can control the temperature to optimal 17 degrees. I also have better control of the dust level on the inside. To reduce the dust level further, I use a sticky cloth. It removes any remaining dust from the sanding. This is important, otherwise these dust particles will haunt me during varnishing. Now I can start varnishing. Here I use a 2-component polyurethane varnish that will cure into a hard UV-resistant surface. In this repair I varnish the whole surface. But if you have deep scratches, it's more optimal to first only fill those scratches, sand again, and then start where I am now, varnishing the whole surface. In that way you save some varnish and can limit the number of varnish layers to lay down. In my case I have to move outside again. In the morning sun. For a second sanding session. The varnish has only cured 16 hours, so it hasn't reached its full hardness. That will take 3 more days. It is still possible to sand with an 180 grit paper, but the paper gets full rather quickly, so I have to change paper before I take the second part of the hull. Inside again I repeat the process, removing dust with the sticky cloth. Changing clothes to something I haven't used for sanding. So when I varnish the second time I do not get any dust into the surface. Instead I arrive at the end with a spotless result. I repeat the process a third time. With 3 sanding rounds all scratches are removed. As this is the final layer I remove dust outside before I move inside. Get into new clothing and use a sticky cloth to surely remove all dust before I put on the final layer of varnish. I think the surface turned out okay and that the hull will make a smooth travel through water. I also have some scratches on the pontoons. These are painted with a 2-component polyurethane paint, but as these are not in water contact all the time, I will satisfy with only 1 coat. I will also replace some lines on the sail system for the kayak, but I won't bother you with that this time, as most people know how to tie a bowline. Next time I hope to finish with the front crossbeam on my camping catamaran project. Please join me then.